I play a stripper.
Well, I guess I don't have to ask if you horse around on the set.
If the trailer's rocking.
People are dropping like flies.
It's difficult to last the 4 days.
From the famous Acme Theater in Hollywood, it's the Gregory Mantell Show.
Today, actress Noureen DeWulf from Ghost of Girlfriends Past is here, and later in the show, the dynamic duo, husband and wife acting coaches and actors Joanne Baron and D Brown join us. And then we'll have the director and producer of the award-winning British comedy 12 in a Box. But first up, Noureen DeWulf. Pleasure to have you here today, Noureen.
Thank you for having me.
So you're haunting Matthew McConaughey. Your movie Ghost of Girlfriends Past is out there.
Yep.
So you were the Ghost of Girlfriends
Present. Yep.
And this is kind of loosely based on the Charles Dickens' The Christmas Story.
Yes, exactly. And it's about Matthew McConaughey, and he plays a character named Connor Mead, who's a big womanizing photographer. And Michael Douglas, who is his uncle in the movie, comes back to tell him that 3 ghosts are going to visit him through the night to show him kind of the error of his ways. The Ghost of Girlfriends Past, who's Emma Stone, present, myself, and future. So we take him on a little journey to show him kind of...
So you show him the error of his ways,
exactly. That there's a real effect for, being this big playboy and hurting these girls' feelings. So.
Now, what was it like working with Matthew McConaughey? Did you get the sense that is he this real-life playboy, or what is he like? Is he completely different from the character, or?
I wouldn't call him a real-life playboy at this moment because, he has a woman in his life, and he has a baby, and they're often on set. But,
See, I had to read the tabloids.
Yeah, but I think like any movie star, I'm sure he definitely could be if he wanted to be. Yeah, but I'm also his assistant in the movie, so I give him a hard time, and then later in the movie I turn into a ghost.
And what was it like? I mean, with the rest of the cast too, of course, Michael Douglas and Jennifer Garner. That's...
Well, Michael Douglas is very amazing. Like, he is definitely a funny and much funnier than you would expect, and a good improver, and a really nice actor, really nice. And Jennifer Garner, same. I mean, I can't say nicer things about these people. I mean, they're very successful. They're movie stars. They're very good looking. I mean, they've got everything going for them. So.
And they handle it well, it sounds like.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, in rehearsals, everybody was in jeans and sneakers and very low key. And I mean, I think that's, that's pretty much. I wouldn't say that's uncommon for people who are doing very well.
Well, sometimes I always say that, that it's the people really at the top who are it's kind of the wannabes or the pretenders along the way sometimes who are the jerks, whereas the people who've really made it sometimes are.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not a jerk, but.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
So you're rubbed off on you, huh?
Yeah.
Now, but do people recognize you already? Because that film is doing well. So when you're walking down the street, do they say, hey,
I don't have the paparazzi chasing me around, but I get a significant amount of. It's not, are you the girl from Ghost of Girlfriends Past? I've gotten that a couple times, but I did a movie a couple years ago called The Comeback. So after that came out, I've had a steady kind of progression of people always going, did we go to high school together?
Oh.
Do I know you from
somewhere? So people think
they think that do you know my cousin? And I'm like, no, I'm an actress.
You look familiar.
Yeah, you look familiar. I don't think that they can peg exactly where they know me from, but I think people kind of,
Well, enjoy it while it lasts. It's probably once they start, even that, when it gets really heavy, then you'll probably wish it were back to the...
Yeah, I'm sure.
And speaking of which, so you've got another film in the works for this summer, which is...
It's called The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard. And it stars Jeremy Piven, Will Ferrell, David Koechner, and Ving Rhames.
Again, another great cast.
Amazing cast, yeah.
And Will Ferrell, what do you think of him?
Oh, he's amazing. These people are all amazing. They're funny and... they're kind.
Now, is he exactly like he is on screen? Because he's...
honestly, like he was a producer in the movie, and he.
Oh God, no, not a producer.
most of my scenes are with Ving Rhames, so I play his girlfriend in the movie. So I don't want to give too many judgments about the other people, but everybody is extremely nice and professional and cool.
And so what do you do in this one then? You're
so this film is about a group of used car liquidators who decide to sell a bunch of cars in a 4th of July sale. It's
Well, I think they're selling the whole companies these days, or they're going under. So I
yeah.
guess they might as
Well,
have
these guys are like a cleanup crew that the people who are doing bad, car salesmen who are doing bad, call them in to come in and sell the cars off their lot.
Oh, they can say rescue General Motors.
Exactly. That's exactly the kind of stuff they do.
Oh.
They rescue General Motors. No, but they help out these fledgling dealerships, and so Ving Rhames is one of the he's one of the expert car salesmen, and so they employ all these tactics to get the cars off the lot, and one of them is to hire girls. So I play a stripper, a local stripper that they hire.
You're helping move those cars.
Helping to move those cars in that 4th of July outfit, and then we end up having a love connection.
You know, when you say it reminds me of I don't know if you've seen the car washes around town. You see the skimpily clad women alongside the road doing the car washes.
Yeah.
But you're selling the cars. You're not washing.
Selling
the cars,
not washing the cars.
Okay.
Selling the cars, yeah.
But you're really on a roll here. So you've got these 2 films, which again, Will Ferrell and Michael Douglas, and big enough stars by themselves. But it was just announced now you've got something in the works with Jennifer Lopez from CBS Films.
It's called The Backup Plan, and it's going to be directed by Alan Paul and Poole. Is that going to be on camera that I messed up his name?
That's okay.
It stars Jennifer Lopez and Alex O'Loughlin from Moonlight.
Oh.
I think that's, what's the name of the show? Moonlight, yeah. Sorry. And so I'm excited about that. It'll be out January 2010.
Okay, and what are you playing that?
I play Jennifer Lopez's employee, and I'm a very kind of hipster, everything is kind of what it is, work in the pet store. And I work with Eric Christian Olsen, who's also does a lot of comedy, and so we play kind of the comedic relief in the film.
Are you a hipster in real life too?
You know it. Absolutely love that.
And I'm sorry, we're running out of time here, but I want to mention you've also got Man-Eaters coming up.
Yep, Man-Eater. It's a mini-series. It's going to be out May 30th and 31st. It's 4 hours.
And you're one of the Man-Eaters?
One of the Man-Eaters. I play a character named Polo Parker, and she is a very kind of Malibu actress, wants to just knows how to get what she wants, And it's a funny dramedy. Stars Sarah Chalk, Judy Greer, myself, and Marla Sokoloff. So yeah.
And I should say, I mean, it's not bad. Maybe one reason you're on such a roll is that your first film or the short film you were in won an Oscar.
Yep. Yeah.
West Bank Story.
West Bank Story. Exactly.
Which looks hilarious. I've seen some clips on YouTube. I definitely want to. Will you give me a copy? I want to watch.
Yeah, I would love to give you a copy.
But you play.
I play a Palestinian girl named Fatima who falls in love with an Israeli checkpoint guard. And it's a musical comedy, even though the subject is very serious. It's just a 20-minute piece on love and on the chickpea. And on hummus and falafels.
Yeah, and I hate to say, it's such a mess over there, the whole situation. So it was, but I think it was actually kind of nice or uplifting to see that you could have a little bit of fun with it, or, because it was just funny, and it kind of pokes fun at the whole.
Yeah, I think the intention is not more. It's not really to poke fun, but it's more to just put a comedic light.
Right, exactly. That's what, in a good sense.
Yeah, and
not make fun of.
Right. No, and we're all American, who made it and stuff, but I think that, so I think we have to be really extra sensitive because none of us are specifically from there. But yeah, it was just a comedic moment of something that's been dealt with very seriously.
Now, in our final moment, I want to ask you though, now you're actually Indian.
Right.
As in not American Indian, as some people say on the internet, but Indian Indian,
yes,
from the country of India. But yet you play, so you've been cast in a Middle Eastern role, or what kind of, are you put in any certain box or not? That's
a really interesting question because I play, I really run the gamut. I've played very quote-unquote normal characters, I play Indian characters, I play Arab characters. In American Dreams, I played a Persian girl, and in West Bank Story, I was Palestinian. In the Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, I use an accent, and I play a character named Melanie. And when I was testing for the role at the studio, there was no accent involved. And then Mark Waters, the director, thought that it would add another layer of comedy for me to have an accent. Didn't matter which accent. And I think him and I decided together that of all the accents, the Indian accent would be the funniest. I tested it out on a couple of people, and everybody.
Can we hear it?
I'm like, Connor, like, don't do that, stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, I just play a lot of different kind of characters, but for me, it's important to stay true ethnically to who I am, and at the same time, I will not be. I don't only play ethnic characters, and I would never only do that.
Well, thank you very much, Noureen DeWulf.
Thank you
It sounds
so
like
much.
you have a great career ahead of you.
Thank you.
We'll look for you in Ghost of Girlfriends Past and The Goods and Maneater and Backup Plan. We'll be right back. And we are back. Joining me now is the dynamic duo, husband and wife acting coaches and actors Joanne Baron and D.W. Brown. D.W.'s book is You Can Act, the Complete Guide for Actors. Great to have you back again for the millionth time today, Joanne, and your first time here at D.W.
Virgin.
We put Joanne through the ringer today, or before, so we'll put you through the ringer today. But Joanne, you've always got a million projects in the works. You just got back from doing a movie with Halle Berry?
Yes, I did a movie with Halle Berry. It was a great deal of fun. We did a movie called Frankie and Alice. I played Stellan Skarsgård's sort of sidekick wife nurse, and she played a multiple personality.
Oh, multiple.
She was many personalities. She was brilliant in the movie. It's a 70s true story of a woman that was a multiple personality and has just inspired life, and Halle was pretty rocking in it. She crushed the part. It was pretty exciting.
And of course, I know you always coach her on things. Yes. Did you coach her on this as well?
We worked on it more as co-actors, really. We read it, we worked on it, we went through it.
Does that change the dynamic if you're both in it? Then it's hard
I did coach her for Dorothy Dandridge, and I did play her doctor in that. So I think in bits and pieces, we worked together on the material, and she might say I coached her on it, but I think that together, because we were acting together, we just went through the script copiously, and we talked about the role. And
so your acting partner was Halle Berry.
That's right. My acting partner was Miss Halle Berry.
Partner,
that's right. That's what I had. I had quite a hot scene study partner. She's an awesome, awesome woman, and she was brilliant in the movie, and it was fun.
And you got a taste of the celebrity life yourself as far as the movie star life, because you said what people were, when you were with her, people were like chasing her to the hotel.
Well, since we came back from the film, we looked at some other material, and we've been talking about doing another movie, and the movie she's doing I've looked at and we've talked about, and I just happened to sort of be celebrating Frankie and Alice. We went out one afternoon, and people were chasing us everywhere. So that was a very interesting experience. At first I was disoriented. I didn't quite understand why they were there. And of course she said, those are people that follow me. And I was like, oh, they follow you all the time?
So she's just used to it.
Yeah, and then somebody sent me a picture. And they said, look at this picture. And I said, how could there be a picture in a newspaper or an online from like 2 hours ago? And yet there
Probably
was.
on Twitter these days.
Yeah, so me and her walking out somewhere. And so they said, oh, look at this great picture. You want to post it? I was like, no, I don't want to post it. But, it was, I could never, at this point in my life, I don't know if this will be in the cards for me, but in my life now, being a working actress, the difference between that and being a movie star, it's really like another planet. That kind of celebrity.
Do you prefer the anonymity, or do you want to be chased around?
At this, I love to be chased around. Ask my husband.
We'll chase you afterwards.
Chase me afterwards. I like the idea of being able to work whenever I want more than any other thing, and if being chased around got me that would be worth it.
You'd be willing.
At least I say so now. I guess you never know what you really are going to feel until you're there, but I think the chased around visibility of a star gives them a key to opportunities, and maybe the loss is privacy and anonymity. The best would be to be able to work all the time and be able to keep your anonymity, but I don't know if most people get that.
But you want to be chased around, DW? I just saw you in Haunting in Connecticut.
I'd rather not talk. I'm just going to be here as an observer for now.
So I don't know. Well, I guess you want to keep it quiet then, so you don't want to be chased around. Is that it? Well, you got to tell me about your new book that you could act.
Yes, it took me just a little over 20 years to write it, to knock that out.
It's about average for some books, I think.
My feverish nights.
Like making a movie.
I'm sorry?
20 years,
Yeah. So Joanne and I have an acting school in Santa Monica, and everything I know about acting I put into that book right there. It's a lot of reference stuff in there, not to be found anywhere else that I know of. Like George Orwell said, he wrote the books he couldn't find in the library. that was the book I couldn't find in the library, so I put that thing together, and has how to play drunk or how to play schizophrenic.
I wanted to read the crack meth chapter or whatever. That was,
That's something you need to look into, Greg.
And I thought, wait, is this acting or is this like details for, for a So if you could sum it all up in a phrase, what would it be? You know? But do you, I mean, for instance, there are different schools of acting, and I know actually you both kind of came from different schools of acting.
That's right.
Correct. Originally, I'm a convert.
Right, and she converted your
Yeah,
wife.
my wife converted me to Meisnerism.
But I wasn't his teacher first. Let's get this clear. I came out to do a movie called Joy of Sex. There was no sex in it. It was just a comedy.
He in the movie?
There was a little joy.
There was a little joy. There was joy when I saw how handsome my leading man was.
So you met your husband doing a movie called Joy of Sex.
Where I played an uptight
That's one of the more interesting
yeah, that is true.
My husband's stories.
I played an uptight teacher, and he played the sex bot. And I said to the director, is my leading man going to be attractive? And she said, I'll let you judge. And I took one look at him and I said,
I'll marry him.
I'll marry him. That's an A.
Well, I guess I don't have to ask if you horse around on the set then, because obviously if you're marrying your leading man, then I know what's going on. So
if the trailer's rocking. Yeah, but I had trained with Lee Strasberg himself. I was a hardcore, Strasbergian guy at the Actors Studio, and all that kind of method, self-involved method kind of acting, and then I got awakened to this whole wonderful world of Sanford Meisner after we became involved romantically. So I'm not like the ultimate apple polisher.
So it really
the
is
teacher.
The acting and the teaching and everything is all.
Yeah, but I had gotten involved in. I came out here as an actor, but then I got involved in writing and directing at the Ensemble Studio Theater, fantastic theater downtown. And then Joanne turned me onto this world of the Meisner technique, and I became enthralled with that, and so I became...
Well, I mean, I know you guys could talk about this forever, and you've written the book, and we've only got so much time, but I wonder, one thing you talk about, one of the themes is the difference between like internal acting and external acting. Can you tell us a bit about the difference with that?
Basically, internal acting is where an actor endeavors to truthfully live under imaginary circumstances, as Meisner put it, rather than to just get the audience to believe that something's happened to me, indicating it from the outside externally. I want to really go through the experience. I want to really seduce myself into believing if that magic if this really was going on, how would I respond to it? So it is to truly play pretend. And actors have been method acting since there's been acting. You can hear ancient accounts, they say they were possessed by the role. But only with Stanislavski and then Strasberg in the group theater where Meisner came on, did that training get formalized as the acting style became more naturalistic and film came along, and it became very important to be subtle in a performance and not necessarily had to broadcast through a large theater the story of an aristocrat.
And Meisner is really Paul Newman, Warren Beatty, Jack Nicholson, Robert Duvall, Sidney Pollack, David Mamet. Meisner is the legacy of the past really 80 years of film and television. You almost can't name a person from top to bottom. Paula Wagner, Tom Cruise's producer. I mean, casting, directing, producing, it's just an awesome thing. I want to mention something because I know that there's a time constraint.
Sure.
He wrote a play at the Ensemble Studio Theater, and in his legacy of doing everything in 20 years, we did the play. It was called Fleas. I was in it. John Grise, who was in Napoleon Dynamite, was in it. A lot of groovy people were in it. William Atherton at one point. And then he just did, at the same time as this book, he did the film version where he directed Olivia Wilde and Nick Stahl.
Oh, that's Northwood?
In Northwood.
In Northwood is the adaptation of this play that I wrote, started 20 years ago at the Ensemble Studio Theater.
He does things in 20 years stints.
In 20 year increments.
Well, you can
I like to
the
pace
next 20
myself,
years
come
now,
on.
you know. But you know, the one thing, having gone to some of your master classes since the various times you've been on the show.
What a great student you are. Better
I'm
than the
always
students.
There. Well, thank you. But one thing, I'm almost a little bit intimidated from the sense that I know you guys are very good, and again, you've got the whole book about it, and you take it seriously. But I was thinking beforehand, I thought, though, but can you kind of be overwhelmed by perfection where it becomes a hindrance? That you know what I mean? That because one reason, I know sometimes you'll say, why don't you take acting classes? But I'm kind of like, no, that's okay. I'm a reporter. I'm not an actor, because I feel like, here we just do it, and I think there's a learning process as you go over time. But with this, I feel like, does it have to be perfect, I guess is what I'm saying. Is it a failure if it's not perfect, and how do you get past that?
Well, for one thing, I'll just say Mark Steinis and a whole bunch of very high profile, we even worked with Jesse Jackson when he had a talk show. There's a whole bunch of really high profile hosts that have gone through this process. And I'll let you take the answer because you've written the book. Do you have to be perfect?
No, it's like I think we do have like the curse in a way. It's hard for us to go see something and where people aren't actors, they have like a tone. So if you know, if you have like, you're an opera person and they sing that aria off key, it's upsetting to you. On the other hand, I think we appreciate somebody else maybe more than somebody who is unstudied. Right. We go, oh, we appreciate how hard it is to do what Leonardo DiCaprio is doing. We get that. So it is a little bit maybe of a curse. There's certain movies that we have a hard time with that other people might not.
And do you think that that could be a hang-up for certain actors even getting out there and doing it, that that it's kind of a stumbling block that you think, oh,
here's
well, I
what
won't be good, or I can't?
I would say that there is no such thing as perfection. There's only process. And the joy of the journey is not where you're going, it's being on the road. If you teach or act, and we both act, he was just in Haunting Connecticut, Drag Me to Hell coming out with Sam Raimi tomorrow, and the other movie, Everybody Dies, my lovely Josh Evans. You can't act on a set from perfection. You can't teach in a classroom for perfection. You can only be in the moment and give your imagination and all and have joy in it. And then at the end, if you fail in other people's eyes, it's really not a failure, it's a discovery. For everything that doesn't work, it's a success. You've eliminated something.
I like that way of thinking.
Someone said no work of art is ever finished, they're just abandoned. So in that way, it's impossible to have perfection.
So there is hope. So get the book.
There is hope.
Some of the master classes, and they can, I don't want to say beat you up, but I mean, you're intense. You're good, but you're intense.
And you see amazing things, haven't you, Greg? Seen amazing things happen in that class. Somebody who you might think was, oh, this person really isn't necessarily meant to act. And in very short order, you can see, oh, wow, with a little craft, with a little bit of
I
this
like
magic
to
thing
think
can
that
happen.
I'm doing everything, and I hope I'm doing everything because I believe in a higher, power. I like to think of everything as coming from love, intense in the sense that there's a challenge and an aspiration, but loving in the sense that you give people a place to fall, a soft
thank
pillow.
you very much, Joanne Baron.
Thank
once again,
you.
DW.
Come to that acting class. You
Absolutely.
can do it.
I'll be there next time,
You
hiding
can
in the
act.
back. The book is You Can Act. You can't act.
You can act.
I can't, but you can. We'll be right back.
It's not going to work out. She doesn't want to marry me. And even if she does, she's going to make my life hell.
Yeah, but they all do that anyway. It doesn't matter who you marry. Soldier?
No. What's the point of marrying if you can't be happy?
Well, you can't be happy all the time. I mean, sure, you're going to have your down times when you're miserable, but then there's the up times when you're just on the verge of misery. Look, I know I joked about her being tall and ugly before I met her, but inside there's a really lovely girl bursting to get out. And if you add both your heights together and average them, well, you've got a perfectly normal couple.
And we are back. Joining me now are director John McKenzie and producer Bruce Windwood from the award-winning British comedy 12 in a Box. Great to have you guys here today.
Nice to
John,
be here.
Bruce. So congratulations. I know you just won Best Feature UK at the British Film Festival here. And I was a judge there, so I'll give a plug for that.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
The money helped, didn't it? Be honest.
Okay, I'll take that. I may get us in trouble now. No money involved, I swear. So, but again, congratulations. But this is, how would you describe this? It's kind of a crazy British comedy for the Americans, that British sense of humor.
Yeah, I would say it's like the old Ealing comedies of the 60s, but we tried to, it was halfway between Woody Allen and Ealing comedy. That's
now, for the Americans, what does that mean? Because they're not as up on that.
Oh, these were films made in the 60s in England, which had guys like Peter Sellers and Alec Guinness, which usually put together a few slightly weird characters in odd situations, and then strange things happen. But it's very underplayed comedy. It's not kind of knockabout slapstick comedy.
Well, and when I heard the title 12 in a Box, I was thinking of 12 Angry Men. I thought it was going to be about a jury. But these are actually 12 people stuck in a house.
12 people, and we thought we've had 12 men, nobody would see it, but we got 6 women, 6 men for all audiences.
And 12 men in a house. I don't know.
That's another movie.
Different
Yeah,
movie,
it's something we might do
different
later.
Genre, different movie. So, but the premise is what? That they were called there?
Yeah, they're called there for a reunion lunch, which they think will last 2 hours. But when they get there, they're told that if they stay for 4 days, they're going to get £1 million each. But if one of them leaves, none of them will get the money. So there's a big tension there because some of them want to go, one of them's getting married, somebody dies of a heart attack pretty fast. So
people are dropping like flies in the house without giving away too much.
Okay, so it's difficult to last the 4 days, but that's the premise of the movie. Will they make it or not?
Now, can you tell me about the cast? I saw one thing in some of the materials about the movies that you kind of intentionally didn't just throw big names in there because you wanted each character to be right for the part, or each actor to be right for the part. Is that?
Yeah, we felt a big name would unbalance the cast, so if we could cast exactly the people we wanted to, we'd get a sense there were real people in that house rather than a big star and 11 people we don't know. So we spent about 4 weeks casting every single day until we found the people who we thought were right.
And for some of these people, some of them it's their first film, and then the others, I guess, have had.
A few of them are done, kind of known in the UK for TV work. I mean, we've got two of the actresses have their own shows, comedy shows in the UK.
And those two are?
That's Miranda Hart and Katie Wicks, but also Angela McIntosh, who plays Brian's wife. She's a comedian, so there's lots of... they're very... I mean, the thing about it is they had to work together. So you have all these actors together, and they have to be able to make it work together. So it was quite scary in some ways to see if it was all going to work. And they were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic.
So were the off-screen stories and antics as crazy as the on-screen?
They were... I don't know, really. They were quite...
The actors sat in a nice, comfy living room.
Yeah, they had a good time.
Old stately home in front of a real coal fire.
Oh,
yeah. Quietly, while we had all the stress, you know.
I don't know if I quite believe you, but,
no,
but so it sounds very British, not like an American film set. Is that it? It was.
They don't have trailers, you know.
Oh.
They sit. There's a big sofa with
that was a nice house,
room
though.
for 12 people.
Yeah, it was very nice. Yeah, they had their own.
How'd you get the house?
It was basically somebody I sort of knew, and I knew we had to get a really good house. I mean, it's
a nice friend to have.
Yeah, I sort of knew him, and then I pushed it a bit further in terms of getting to know him very well. In terms of, and can we please use your house? Because we had to use the whole house. We had to have access to a whole Palladium mansion. If you've seen Gosford Park, it's that kind of size. And it was very important. The house is very central.
It was all filmed right there in the house.
It was all on location, yeah. Basically the house and the grounds. So, it was useful that we were in one place. Rather than.
Now, what's next for this? Again, I know you've been racking up awards at some of the film festivals and that sort of thing. At the Boston Film Festival.
Yeah, we got Best Screenplay at Boston. We got in Zurich. We got the Audience Award for Best Film. So, what we're hoping now is because of these awards in the States, especially, you know, if it gets recognition in the States, then maybe we can get a good distribution out, theatrical distribution.
And how does that on the one hand, a lot of things are playing well in America these days from England. I mean, instead of you taking our TV shows, we're taking your TV shows, and God knows plenty of actors and actresses have come from there. So, I mean, is it the British comedy? Is that an easy sell or a tougher sell? I personally like the witty or the British kind of humor, but is that an easy or a tough sell?
I mean, it might traditionally have been quite tough breaking America with anything, with music or with films. But I mean, what's been amazing has been the reaction towards the film from US audiences, because you're always a bit nervous. I mean, we've played. I mean, the film's coming out in Australia next month, and we feel very confident it'll do well there. But every culture is different. But the reaction we've had at the festivals has been fantastic. So we feel very, very confident that it's going to be a film that goes down well here.
Well, thank you very much. Best of luck with the film 12 in a Box. Thank you very much,
Thank
John
you.
McKenzie
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure being here, Greg.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.